Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to PowerWash Sim. We're hanging out with Foxy and Vague, like usual, and we're ready to jump into it. Alright. So what are we doing first? The, golf?
Paintball.
Paintball. You got it. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Are you ready, ladies and gents?
Ladies and gentlemen,
We
boys and
got 'em.
girls over the
I am
age of...
I am none of those.
Oh, yeah. You gotta include the fabulous NBs.
Guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
That's a good
That's a
one.
good one.
It's my
Jinx.
favorite one.
Although, because of the Discord delay, it probably wasn't a jinx. It sounded like a jinx on my end, but probably not on yours.
It sounded like a jinx on my end, too.
Good job, Vague.
Wait,
You
what
could
did I do?
also do ladies and gentlemen.
Gotcha. I am attempting to figure out the controller keys for PowerWash.
Have you not been using... Oh, why controller? No, don't do that.
I'm on Steam Deck.
Oh, right. Because your computer is packed up.
Yep.
Yeah, they're shipping Vague off to an oil platform off the coast of Alaska.
Yep.
If Alaska is in North Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, Alaska, North Carolina.
Yeah, after the tragic matter transporter accident, Alaska became part of North Carolina.
It's like Warsaw, New York that I went to earlier this year.
There's Denver and Dallas, North Carolina, and there's a Scotland County and a Transylvania County.
The only thing I need to figure out is how... Never mind, I figured it out. It was literally the last key I tried.
I mean, that's how that works, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I have to do is figure out how the heck I turn the volume down.
Yeah, it's a fucking loud game.
I've always wanted to go paintballing, but social anxiety.
I don't feel like I would enjoy paintballing.
You could do airsoft.
Oh, no. It has nothing to do with gun use. I don't feel like I would enjoy being pelted by small, softish objects and splattered with paint. I don't know, the splattered with paint part might be fun.
Yeah. It also depends on people.
There's too much innuendo in there. I'm not even gonna...
God damn it.
I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just gonna point out all the getting hit by soft things and splattered with paint. Just point it out, and then that's all I'm gonna say.
God damn it.
Yeah, well, the splattered with paint in the innuendo sense is not something that I enjoy.
I get it.
God, that just reminded me of the
Paint is gross.
comic I saw back in the day. So, famous porn star goes in the comic universe, goes paintballing, and turns around, and her face is red, and her partner's like, "Oh, you got shot with paintball," and she goes, "No, someone needs to go see a doctor."
Oh, God.
Oh my.
Oh My by George Takei. Now at Dillard's. It also feels really weird to wear closed back headphones again. It just, whenever I talk, I feel like I'm congested.
Or like you're underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I wore them for a long time, and then going back to open backs was a problem. It's like, oh, I can hear my voice again.
Close back and open back. What the hell do you mean?
I'll let Vague explain.
So, most headphones people use are closed back, which means the ear cup is completely enclosed and no audio is allowed to basically escape. Open back headphones, the back of the headphone is opened up, so basically it provides a better sound stage, but the issue is if you're in a loud environment, audio can bleed in, and then if you're listening to something loud, it can bleed out and other people can hear what you're listening to.
I did not know that open back was a thing.
Yeah, I've used open back for most of my life, and then I got like 2 sets of closed back in a row. And then I went back to open back, and it was a problem because, well, when I started streaming, I had to learn how to talk to myself.
Yes. Very awkward.
And that wasn't as bad when talking to myself was like muted and muffled, and I could not hear myself as well.
I could definitely see that being a thing, yeah.
But once I went back to open back ones, it was like, oh, I can hear every inflection of my voice, and it's kind of weird. I have finally gotten to the point where I can listen to my own VODs and not feel weird about my voice.
I always feel weird about my voice.
It took a long time, but I did get there.
Yeah, I sort of had a similar problem, like headphones, no problem at all, open back, close back. But if I VOD, no issue. But if I did the monitoring, which is what a lot of professional stuff does, is where you hear yourself as you're talking.
Oh, I cannot do that.
I can't do that.
Cannot do that.
Yeah, that like half, not even half, like 1/10 of a second delay that you get is weird. I'm not a fan.
No, I can't. It feels like I'm talking over somebody, even though it's myself, and I just can't.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why they do it in the theoretical sense, so you can, control the way you talk and talk the way you want, but keep track of, like, levels and if there are any issues, but it just doesn't work. I just feel weird.
It makes more sense to me for people whose brains are not broken.
That is true.
It helps when your brain is not broken.
Correct.
A lot of things.
Yes.
Help when your brain is not broken.
Correct.
Unfortunately for the world, most people's brains are broken. In one way or another.
You mean concussions are bad?
Well, I didn't say that.
But also that, yes.
Brain damage.
That sounds like some of that fake science crap. We voted that out last week.
God damn it. You know what Go ahead.
I'm listening to this lo-fi covers playlist, and the song that is playing right now is Pure Imagination from Willy Wonka.
The world of pure imagination.
I don't like... Why did that need a lo-fi cover?
I don't know. You don't like it?
It's not bad, it's just like, that's not the kind of thing that I would expect.
It's out of place?
Yes.
Yeah, the vibes are off.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I haven't watched Willy Wonka in a long time.
It's been a minute.
What a great fantasy movie about a kid becoming a millionaire based purely on the merits of his character. And not due to nepotism or slavery. Although Willy Wonka and slavery go hand in hand.
True. Well, we don't know for sure that the Oompa Loompas were slaves.
Well, they claim that they're not. It's one of those cases where it's like, you brought them into society and promised them a better life, and, like, you did give them a better life. But did you do it in a way that was fair and honest? You know?
Yeah.
It's that question of, like, okay, but, like,
The world may never know.
did you, like, you say you gave them the choice, but did you explain that to them? Anyway.
Things I would like to ask Gene Wilder for 100 of these.
It's perfectly legal as long as the Oompa Loompas are prisoners,
Yep.
convicted in a court of law.
Well, it was also, England in the 70s, so who
Or-
knows what was actually legal then.
Or they're POWs.
Well, yeah, that's true. England might not have that prisoner exception that we have.
But if they're POWs in a war and peace has not been declared, so I did read an interesting science thing yesterday on Wikipedia by accident. So a couple people have proposed different ways to remove the Van Allen belts around the planet. And at the very end of the section, somebody put, there are plans, however, there isn't any knowledge of if there will be unintended side effects. And I'm like, all right, did Gordon
There will
Freeman write this?
always be unintended side effects. That's
I
how
was like-
everything works.
Yeah. I was like, what kind of Half-Life Gordon Freeman shit is this? He had to have written this.
Unintended consequences.
Yep.
I always appreciated Eli's reaction to hearing that from his daughter. Where
Yep.
he just, like, he has such a visceral emotional reaction where he almost collapses.
Yep.
Very much that son of a bitch. Maybe someday we'll learn more about who the G-Man is. And who his employers are.
Yep. I mean, if everything goes wrong for the G-Man, he still has Shepard.
Is that somewhere in the same vein of maybe someday we'll get another season of Firefly?
Probably.
Well,
at the rate
probably.
how it's going.
But we did get Half-Life Alyx. That is a thing that happened. If you had asked me before that came out, I would say, yes, 100%. It's like getting another season of Firefly. It'll never happen. But then they actually did it. So, it would be like if Firefly had, like, a 3-episode special, Where they got all the actors back.
Well, they can't get all the actors back.
The ones that they could.
Okay.
And did, like, a 3-episode special.
Which is all but one of them.
But yeah. They were talking about doing that for Fresh Prince after Uncle Phil's actor died.
Yeah.
But I don't think it ever happened. But they talked about the rest of them coming back for like one episode.
They
Anyway.
should have Will Spad show up for like 30 seconds and then just leave. I don't think Valve will ever make a sequel to Half-Life 3 or Half-Life 2 unless there's some kind of massive leap in tech that gets everybody excited to
Well,
get
yeah.
a Half-Life game.
That's my friends and I realized this a long time ago when we were talking about Half-Life like 8-9 years ago. And it's that Valve only releases a new game when there's a tech demo to be made. And we were proved right with Half-Life Alyx when that came out. Because
Yeah.
Half-Life Alyx is look at what you can do with this VR tech. And Half-Life 2 is just a tech demo for the Source engine. Like, that's all it is at the end of the day.
Yep.
And Half-Life 1 was Golden Source, or whatever the hell it's called.
Yep.
And
the
then,
funniest-
like, they did licensed stuff for Blue Shift and yada yada yada. That's one of the reasons why Half-Life 2 has so many physics puzzles in it. It's because the whole point is that they're showing off what the engine can do. Making a good game is second to that. It's just that their tech demos happen to be really good games.
Yeah, they are also insanely in depth with their gameplay. Like the one section with was it the Vortigaunt in Half-Life 2 where you have to go down that passage. Like they originally had like looping passages, and then after playtesting and realizing people were literally going in a circle for 30 minutes, there was one guy who was like going in a circle for like almost an hour. They completely revamped that part of the level to make it straight so you can't loop back and end up going in a loop for 45 minutes. They spend so much time on the small details in the level design.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
they should
do.
have left it that you could go in a loop for 45 minutes.
God, no.
Make people figure it out.
You know how many... When I was playing Half-Life 1 the other day, Vague was there. I spent like 25 minutes in one room because I couldn't figure out where to fucking go.
Yep, I remember that.
And I was like, isn't that the fucking teleporter that I came in on?
Yep.
No, it wasn't.
Yep, I wanted to scream, but I'm like, nope. I can't take AWOL's great content away from him. That would be wrong.
I wanted to scream too. I even straight up said, please, somebody help me.
Oh.
I did. I just don't know if you heard.
You probably did it when I went to grab a drink. Or when I hit the head.
I was so lost.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the teleporter that I came in through, right? I was convinced of that.
Yeah, and I thought you realized at one point, like, oh yeah, I should try to go over here, and then...
I did, eventually, and then I went over there just to see, because I had exhausted everything else. But, yeah. Do we have a ladder?
Somewhere.
Yeah, you really can tell the missing Valve magic when you play Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 versus Back 4 Blood.
Yeah, you really can.
It's like Turtle Rock is great with putting out some weird ideas, but their implementation and follow-up on fixing that needs a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. I don't see a ladder anywhere. There's one wall that has a tiny bit of smudge left on it, and I can't find it.
What wall?
The general store wall. Is it up there?
I don't see it, but that was my first guess.
Oh. Okay. I did not hit anything. It just decided that it was done.
Apparently you got it, though, because I was not spraying.
Well, that's something. There is an ungodly amount of paint on some of these things.
People are terrible shots.
Well, in paintball, the whole point is fire suppression.
So basically everyone is zero.
Pretty much, yeah.
Suppressing fire.
The whole point is that you just keep shooting as much as you can. Ammunition is not a problem.
True.
You just want to
So
make sure that if somebody peeks out that you hit them, so you just keep shooting. Airsoft is similar.
God, I almost ended up getting into airsoft hardcore when I was in high school. I
mean,
am so glad I didn't.
I would like to, but, you know,
Why?
anxiety.
Once you start really getting into it, you end up, like, trying to get, like, accurate, like, military gear. You end up spending a stupid amount of money on airsoft guns.
Yeah, don't do that.
Then there's like limited edition ones. Like over the years, there have been a ton of Resident Evil crossover airsoft guns.
So it's
Oh,
They're
yeah,
like
they've-
my friend Joe with his Xbox controllers. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah, people get really into it.
Yeah.
If I lived in a not gun-friendly country, I would probably have all kinds of weird airsoft guns.
Yeah.
Just for
You
the,
can
like...
get airsoft guns in not gun-friendly countries.
Yeah.
Some of them you can. Some even ban those, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Japan allows airsoft.
They also allow like hunting rifles, don't they?
Yeah.
Most
in rural
countries
areas, Yeah, in rural areas in Japan, you can apply to get a hunting rifle for protection.
even Australia does. And, you know, they're one of the ones that they had one mass shooting, and that was it.
Port Arthur.
And they collected
New
everybody's
Zealand, pretty
guns. Yeah, New Zealand, same thing. They had one mass shooting.
Christchurch.
Hmm. But even Australia still has the, well, if you're living in the outback, you can get a license.
You kind of might need one, yeah.
Yep. It's all fun and games till you have a bear running at you at Mach 5. Or a very angry kangaroo.
They had a Family Guy joke from forever ago when they did the Britain episode, where they do the news broadcast in the UK. And the broadcaster says, "In other news, a man with a gun and 2 bullets has taken over the city of Manchester." It's very appropriate.
I don't... Oh, he doesn't have as many controllers as I thought he did. He only has 25.
That's still more than most.
It's still a lot, but it's not as many as I thought it was. I thought he was closer to 50.
I guess it depends how many of them are for the same console, too.
They're all Xbox.
Okay, yeah, that's a little crazy. Because I probably have close to 20 controllers, but, like, I have Xbox, PlayStation, NES, SNES, N64.
No, yeah,
like,
no, he specifically is collecting Xbox X controllers.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What's kind of wild is...
Tell him that I will sell my Halo 3 ODST controller for $2,000.
I feel like he probably has one.
Probably.
That reminds me.
They were pretty common.
The Sea of Thieves one is worth an insane amount of money. I've seen them for like over $1,000.
That's crazy.
The only one of those that, like, special edition for a game ones I've ever looked at and been like, I want that, was the one for Forza Horizon 5. It was so pretty.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I stopped using that controller a long time ago because it stopped working.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, no, his are all, like, new in box.
Yeah, mine has hundreds of hours of wear and tear.
It's not a thing that I would ever be like, I'm gonna collect this and never use it.
Well, I guess it's better than collecting $2,000 sneakers.
Yeah. But at least the controllers are not $2,000.
Yeah, hobbies are expensive these days.
Some of my coworkers were talking today, and one of them bought $2 of Dogecoin back when it was worth 0.02 pennies.
Hey, that was me back in the day.
And he bought some more at different points while it was still very cheap, like less than a penny. I don't remember how much he said he ultimately bought back then, but his current value is now over $300,000.
Fuck!
Yeah.
Well, fuck.
Sell!
I lost a wallet with about $5 back in that time on it. Well, shit.
Yeah, it's up like the total up from the very beginning is like 30,000%.
Well,
I had some at one point. I think it was around like 15 cents when I got it.
But yeah, it skyrocketed after the election.
Yeah, not surprising.
well,
Especially.
Mm-hmm. The Department of Government Efficiency, aren't you happy?
Mm-hmm.
The Department of
Thrilled.
Government Efficiency that has 2 department heads.
Thrilled.
yep,
The only
And on top of
department
that-
with 2 department heads.
yep. The efficiency department needing more people than it should.
Mm-hmm.
On
It's always
top
a
of
good
that-
idea when a guy with a ton of government contracts is put in charge of a government department.
stuff. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong there.
Have you seen the other picks?
Mm-hmm.
Secretary of Defense,
Mm-hmm.
specifically? Yeah.
Oh yeah, did you see that they picked the pedophile for Attorney General?
Oh my god.
Yeah, Matt Gates.
I knew the name, but I couldn't place why I knew the name.
Yeah, Matt Gates is the guy that has been under investigation multiple times.
Is he involved in like the Epstein stuff?
Don't know if it was
No.
the Epstein stuff, no.
No, it was, he had a friend who literally got busted, and they literally had text messages between the two of them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a slam dunk case.
It's one of those
Why
cases.
has he not been tried and
You know
convicted
why.
then?
You damn well know why.
Yeah.
There's just enough plausible deniability, and the Republicans don't eat their own.
Yeah.
So,
Unless they have to.
yeah, unless they have to. And, Tulsi Gabbard got one too.
I
Intelligence,
read
I think?
something-
National intelligence?
Oh, I read something about she was going, like, people were encouraging him to pick her for something.
Yeah, he picked
But
her for
he
the
didn't?
intelligence department. National intelligence.
Not like somebody with ties to Putin could do any kind of damage.
Well, we elected one president, so
Mm-hmm.
that horse has already fucking taken off, run around the course 3 times, and died.
Yeah, that was gonna say that horse is dead.
I think that horse crossed the border and is now down in Tijuana living the life.
You know, it's probably happier there.
The special counsel also said today that their team is going to resign before Trump takes office. The ones
I
that
don't
were
know what that
investigating him for
my
the
God.
stolen secrets. The boxes and boxes of classified documents.
Wow.
Yeah, they're all going to resign before he takes office so that they can resign before they get fired.
Makes sense. I'd let him fire me.
Well, my understanding is that if they close the investigation now, then the current Attorney General gets to decide what to do with all of the evidence and all that stuff.
Okay. That makes
So
more
it
sense
is
then.
a smart play, I think,
Yeah. That makes more sense then if that's the case.
but who knows?
I've spent a good chunk
What-
of my
so-
adult life working with the government, and still none of it makes sense half the time.
What about the charges that are still pending against him?
They were supposed to announce, or the judge was supposed to pick the punishment on the 26th. I saw a headline about that
No,
today,
like the
but
ones that the trial hasn't even happened yet.
in Georgia?
Maybe that sounds right.
The New York one is the one where he was convicted of financial crimes, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
that
And
sounds right.
then the judge postponed sentencing until after the election.
Wow.
And I
Should
think he
fucking
was
done it
supposed to
before.
Yeah, no shit. I think he was supposed to sentence him on the 26th, but I saw a
that it would
headline today.
Changed the outcome of the election, but
Yeah, exactly. I could have sworn I saw something about it today. I don't know if the sentencing is still going to happen or not. I can't remember.
not that it would have changed the outcome of the election, but it really feels fucking cowardly to be like, oh, I'm gonna wait and see if this person's president or not.
Yep.
Yeah. The Georgia case hasn't gone to trial yet, I don't think. I think that might be the one you're talking about.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the one that hasn't gone to trial yet.
It probably won't.
I don't feel anyone is willing to take a constitutional crisis.
I mean, it's a state charge. Technically, the state attorney general can do what the state of Georgia's law says. But, you know, once he's president, it becomes a little more difficult to compel him to show up to court.
Yep, and this is exactly a case that if my knowledge of law from history classes and from my legal classes in college this is one of the few things that I believe would fall directly under the original Supreme Court's mandate. So theoretically, Supreme Court could literally just grab the case if there's any sort of questions, instead of going through the usual process of jumping through the court system.
Mm-hmm.
So all in all, it's a fucking shit show.
Yep. He really meant it when he said that he could kill someone in front of the White House and get away with it.
Yep. I think it was on a street in New York, but I think both apply equally well.
Can't wait for President J.D. Vance. Hooray!
Yep. Everyone will legally have to fuck their couch at least once a week.
I'm more concerned about his Peter Thiel philosophy of capitalist libertarianism.
Yep. You know, I think the greatest critique of libertarianism came out of the most recent season of Fargo.
Everyone's a libertarian until they're not.
Yep. Yeah,
Just
literally.
like how everybody is against spending money on FEMA until they need it.
Yep. Yeah, one of the main characters of this season of Fargo, she basically talks to him and he's like, well, I'm a libertarian. He goes over and over and over again, and then eventually she boils it down to, so basically you want all of the power and none of the responsibility of anything.
Yes.
You know what you are, right? And he says something, and then she goes, yeah, you want to be a baby.
An autocrat.
Yep.
So you know
That's
how
all
I
autocrats
said
are.
it's really, 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 really unlikely that I would ever be okay with living off grid?
Yeah.
Kinda might be okay with it now.
Fair enough.
I got Luna to install Signal today.
Nice. I've been using Signal for years. I love it.
Like that.
I've had it for a long time, but I don't use it. It's an end-to-end encryption messaging app. That's
Yep.
open source.
Yep, run by Moxie Marlinspike.
Yeah.
Pretty big in the hacker community.
Journalists have been using it for literal decades.
Nice.
Yep,
I
And
got
it's
Blue Sky yesterday.
nice.
good.
Yeah, basically the two I would trust the most are Threema and Signal.
Yeah, Signal has had a good reputation for a long time, and
Yep.
part of that just comes from the way that it's set up, where everything is very open source,
Yep.
and the whole
Data collection's minimized.
data collection is minimized because it's end-to-end.
Yep.
So unless you have a quantum supercomputer, you're probably fine. So like the whole point is that even the app doesn't know what your messages are
Yeah.
Yep.
because it gets encrypted before it leaves your phone. And because it's open source, people that know what they're talking about can look at the code and verify that that's actually true
Yep.
and that they're not bullshitting.
Yep. I'm not sure how much Threema has open source, but the Swiss government uses them for their military.
Yeah, Signal
they
is
basically
pretty
banned
good.
WhatsApp.
Some people have been recommending Telegram, but I don't recommend Telegram.
Yeah.
They have issues.
Yep. They've been banning people a lot lately.
I got my very first VPN the other day.
Oh?
Nice.
What'd you settle on?
Proton, because it's free.
Oh.
Well, when I say free, it's included in what we already pay for.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I use Nord. I've had it for a long time.
Yeah.
Nord's okay.
Didn't they get acquired by one of the big two?
I don't know. They might have been.
Yeah.
But I've
basically,
always paid for my subscription in 3-year bundles.
Yeah.
So it's like even if they change their practices, I'm kind of like locked in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only one, basically I think Molvad and Proton are the only two that are still independent of the big guys, because all the rest, a couple different companies have basically been on a giant buying spree in that area and bought up everyone.
Yeah, it's not a surprise. I know Nord had a lot of controversy that one time, but that was a bit like it was a fuck up, but it was kind of blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, they were using a rented like third-party server somewhere.
Yep.
I forget, and it was misconfigured.
Yep.
And the big issue is that they found out about it and then corrected it and then didn't tell anyone. And that transparency is important for this kind of shit. Like, you have to tell people these things.
Yep.
Proton is expanding their services. They're going to have a spreadsheet thing soon.
Nice.
Fun. The biggest problem with Nord is that I can't use it all the time. I use it all the time on my phone because it's not a big deal. But the bandwidth that I lose using it on my PC is too much.
Yep.
So I'll turn it on and off when applicable. But like I can't be going from 1 gig down 800 up to like 80 down and 40 up, you know?
Fuck.
Yep.
Like, it's really bad.
Yep. Yeah, I actually had to switch DNS providers today because the one I was using just got so unbearably slow. Like, it was like 20 seconds query time plus, and I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah, and I use it on my phone all the time, but that's because I don't need high speeds on my phone 99% of the time. The other problem is the having to constantly turn it off for things like Amazon, because they try to block VPN connections as much as possible
Yep.
if they go out of their way. And it's this
Yeah.
constant, never-ending battle of Nord changing their protocols and their IPs,
Yep.
and Amazon then finding out, though, there's their VPN connections and then blocking them.
Yep.
It's very
Yeah,
annoying.
Yeah,
Netflix,
I used
Hulu, they all do it.
Yep. I used to have like
They want that data.
6,000 IPv6 addresses that weren't even linked to anything, and I'm like, I feel like those are more valuable now than ever, even though you can get shit tons of IPv6 easily. Having them not be flagged is infinitely more valuable.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Because, there are no rights to privacy on the internet, so...
But what about the Internet Privacy Act 127.0.0.1 signed by Bill Clinton in 1996?
Uh-huh.
You remember that copy, Pasta?
Nope.
Yeah, people used to put that you can't access his website if you're, from a game developer looking for leaks back in the 90s. And it was the Internet Privacy Act 127.0.0.1 signed by Bill Clinton. I was like, that's not a real act.
But, yeah, since there's no right to privacy, they, do their best to block VPN connections because they want that data to sell.
Yep.
So they want to know exactly what you're browsing for and in what area you're browsing for it in. Yada, yada, yada.
I think the most interesting thing I've ever read is somebody's like, we can make these companies worthless, we just had to figure out ways to continually generate junk data.
Mm-hmm.
It seems real.
People have been recommending doing that with menstrual cycle apps.
Yep.
Trying to find ways to poison the well.
I missed something. What was being recommended for menstrual apps?
People poisoning the well. Basically,
How?
lots of men downloading the apps and putting in data so that the data that the apps have can't be used by nefarious actors because it's been poisoned.
Yep.
That makes sense. You could also get one that's not hosted
inside the US.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Which is what I do.
Yeah, I don't remember what the app was specifically, but I was
Clue.
reading about that earlier. People were basically discussing different patterns that you can use that the algorithms will probably not auto-delete as, like, outliers.
If any of you people out there listening have a uterus and menstruate, use Clue for your period tracking app because they are not hosted in the United States. They are hosted in Switzerland.
Yep.
U.S. government ain't getting shit.
Yep. Switzerland takes their privacy very seriously.
Yeah, what Foxy said.
Yeah, most of the cases I've seen lately in the past, 5 years, basically the only way your data is getting handed over is if you're either A, laundering money for cartels and terrorists, or B, you're an active terrorist. Otherwise, they're just sort of like, yeah, their right to privacy trumps your warrant.
Fuck you, bye-bye.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yes, if you're not using Signal and you're worried that you might be a targeted group in the future, you should be using Signal.
Yep.
Or at the very least, just make sure that all of your close confidants, friends, are on it, so that push comes to shove, you can just start using it whenever.
Like, okay, so I understand why it would be valuable to use in certain circumstances, but explain like I'm 5 why it's good to use just like in general.
Well, other than the fact that it's a pretty decent instant messaging app, like in general. There are no records for people to pull up. So if you are, say, I don't know, homosexual in a country that has recently decided that being homosexual is bad, and something that you can be arrested for. It will allow you to still communicate with people without the government knowing, because there are no records for them to get.
Okay, so in my circumstance, personally, I came out when I was 12. There's literally 24 years of social media, not only social media, but like also like traditional printed media of me being queer.
There's really not much you can do about that stuff. There are companies that you can pay that will go and go looking for that stuff and ask that it be removed from whatever archives it's on or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because they keep re-indexing.
Right. And usually they're subscription services because they take a while to find everything, A, and B, those databases will just keep putting the data back.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they have to keep asking them to get rid of it.
Yeah, and with Signal, basically they retain a minimal amount of data. Like, say your phone's up when your friend sends a message, they retain minimal amount of data once it's delivered to your phone.
So is it like there's no chat history, or the chat history is stored on your device directly?
It's stored on your device directly,
okay.
And they make it easy to just delete the whole history in like two button presses.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another thing, obviously, in a worst case scenario, this might not apply anymore, but the Fifth Amendment protects you from
self-incrimination,
which includes giving passwords that are memorized. So if you're worried about being persecuted for being queer, you're going to want to take off the thumbprint and the Face ID on your smartphone.
Never use Face ID, ever.
If you're using it, I don't, for that reason, but you're going to want to get rid of that because...
I do have thumbprint on, but the easy workaround for that, I don't know if this also works for Face ID, but the easy workaround for your thumbprint is turn your phone off.
Yeah, yeah, you can do that with Face ID too, I think.
Yeah.
And then it will require a passcode.
Yep.
And there are things that you can set up so that you can restart your phone very easily.
I'm honestly curious, like, if they ran like everything they know about me through some kind of algorithm, if they could figure out what my password is.
Maybe, but ultimately you can't be compelled to give it to them in court.
Yeah. And I wouldn't, even if I was.
You can be compelled to give your face or thumb.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I shut phone off.
So if you have an iPhone, a recent iPhone, you might not know this, but the little white circle on the back of your phone is actually a programmable button. I don't know if this applies to any Androids or anything, but...
There's a certain amount of programming you can do with the power button, at least on a Galaxy.
Gotcha.
Like mine, if I double press it, it opens Google Sheets.
But you could set that up if you're worried about, like, the speed with which you can shut your phone off. You can program that to, you tap it 3 times and the phone restarts. Or 2 times, or whatever. And it's like a touch-sensitive button, so you just tap it and then you're good. And then it'll restart. And then you don't have to worry about the iPhone problem of you have to hold 2 buttons and then slide the thing to actually turn off your phone.
Yep.
But yeah, again, Signal doesn't help you much if you have like a lot of stuff.
If you're me.
But it will at the very least help you in the case of, hey, people in power have decided that queer people are going to be persecuted now,
Hmm.
and you need a way to like get the word out without outing yourself.
That's kind of the situation that I was thinking of would be really good to use it for, is more like spreading information and
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
yeah, exactly. It's good for that.
Yep. And then with their new nicknames, you no longer have to go by phone number. And if you delete your nickname, it's only held for a very short period of time. So once it's deleted, all the metadata that the small amount they have attached to it is basically gone. So once it's deleted, basically, unless they're there in like under a second, that data is basically whatever they could get is useless if there's anything left at all.
Exactly. That's why journalists use it.
Yep. Yeah, a couple people in my friends group basically quit using Discord for the most part, and they moved everything over to Signal.
Yeah, Signal does also have groups
Yep.
and calls and other stuff.
Yep.
So,
I could see that coming in handy.
Yeah. They even have censorship resistant settings, so if it sees they're trying to censor you from accessing Signal, they will try to route around it.
yeah, because that is a thing. Obviously, Signal is well known and has a reputation for when certain governments are like, hey, hand over your logs, Signal telling them, A, we don't really have any logs to hand over, and B, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
They do a little bit of both. Of it's like, well, we're not going to hand them over, A, and B, we don't have anything to give you.
Yeah, Moxie.
Even if we did,
real.
fuck you.
Yep.
Really, that's
Yeah.
always the best.
Yeah, Moxie's name carries a lot of credit when I remember in the hacking community.
But yeah, just be safe, protect yourself, make plans. That sort of thing. Don't be a statistic if you can avoid it.
Well, we'll see how possible that is in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Also, delete your Twitter if you haven't.
I have one, it has nothing on it. It's just so I can see other people's posts.
I went through and deleted most of the art that I have posted over the years. All of it,
don't see
actually.
How it's legal to just retroactively be like, yeah, we're taking any art ever posted on the platform, even if you don't have rights to post it, and we're going to use that in our generative AI.
It's probably not legal, but is anybody
But
going
they
to
don't care.
prosecute? And it's another case of even if they do prosecute, it's like, oh, what are they going to do? Throw a $50 million fine at them? Like, that fucking matters. You pay $150 million fine and you made $500 million, so it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
It's like a episode of Leverage I was watching earlier. They were talking about this like fucking corrupt, gross ass CEO was talking about some other company got fined like $2.5 billion because of deaths from their product.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, but they made $67 billion or something.
Right.
He's like, it's like tipping your waiter.
Right. And they account for those things now.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got? Oh. I saw a spot and then I fell. Fort Blue. There's a pretty big paintball place not that far from me where they took a bunch of shipping containers, cut them up, turned them into like a big pseudo castle. And then they do like capture the flag stuff, and they do like really big games once a year with like 100+ people. And I saw some video of it, and it's like fucking insane. Like you got 50 people on each team, and one team is trying to protect the flags in the castle and around the castle. Like there's one at the front gate, stuff like that. And then you got 50 people that are trying to take the flags, and it is a nightmare.
Yeah, I remember back in the day.
So much paint.
On Google Videos, there was a massive airsoft game that was basically like Black Hawk Down, and it was fucking insane. There were hundreds of people.
There are a couple of places that also do like D-Day things. If they have like a pond or a lake or something nearby, and they just have a bunch of like cardboard or not cardboard, plywood Higgins boats.
Yep.
And people will fill up in the boat, and then other people will be up on the beach, and then they just drop the ramp, and it goes about as well as you would expect. Which is to say, it goes about as well as it did in the actual D-Day. Which is to say, fucking horribly.
Yeah, my grandfather landed at D-Day. The only reason he really survived is there was a guy who was like a super veteran on the boat, and he grabbed him and he's like, you know, you're my medic, so what we're going to do is when this boat hits, we're jumping off of the side. We aren't waiting for the ramp. Jump off the side with me. So he jumped off the side with the guy, and about 3 seconds later, the boat took a direct hit and blew up.
Yep, I believe it. The Higgins boat, on one hand, was an incredible invention. On the other hand, very stupid invention. It was incredible in the sense that they were able to build a fuckload of them really fast. Because they were so cheap. And that landing craft like that just didn't exist before then. And terrible because, hey, you know what we should do? We should drop the armor in a narrow lane in front of the troops where machine guns know they can point. And it's just like, what the fuck were they thinking? You know?
Yeah. I think they probably went to the Aaron school of landing troops, you know, for 40K.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
well,
like,
it is very much like,
yeah.
again, they didn't have landing craft like that before, really. There were a few designs, but not much. And the whole point of the Higgins boat was, like, we have D-Days coming up, and we need tens of thousands of these, and we need them right now. And they were very cheap, and they could be mass-produced. And you could put, like, 50 fucking guys in one boat. Which you couldn't do with much else. Alright. But yeah, there's a reason why nobody else has built a landing craft like that. Ever again. D-Day was a fucking nightmare.
Yep.
Well, it depends on the beach, but most of the beaches were... All of the beaches were bad. Some of them were literally hell on earth.
Yep.
Like Omaha.
Yeah, my grandfather was a Navy medic.
Corpsman.
Yep.
Fun. I haven't gone mini golfing in a long time.
So, yep. he got injured, I think sometime after D-Day. Recubes went back, and he was on a ship heading for Japan. And they were like, yeah, we're gonna fight this tooth and nail with Japan, and that's when they were partway there when they got the surrender notice.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah,
X
apparently
Day,
they
I
were-
think?
Yeah.
Was the plan?
They were. Yeah, from what he put together from some of the guys who'd been there a long time, they were like, yeah, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be a nasty brawl all the way through.
Yeah.
We're probably all going to be dead.
Yeah. The projected casualties were over 1 million. I know that.
Yeah.
That taking the Japanese main islands by force would cost over 1 million American lives.
Yep.
It would have fucking sucked.
Yeah, it would have been nasty fighting. God. Like,
It's fine. We traded those 1 million lives for living in a reality where the whole world could end at any moment.
yep. Yeah, it was kind of wild. Like
That
if you
was the trade-off.
Yeah, if you read into the Japanese officer or training,
Mm-hmm.
just like I'd be hard pressed to. I'd be hard pressed to say even modern Russia is as brutal as the Japanese were.
Yeah. I mean, they were teaching kids in schools how to fight. So, not great. Do you know what beach he was at?
I don't remember. It's been so long. He passed away in the early 2000s, I believe. It was
Gotcha.
either late 90s, early 2000s.
Well, if he was an American, then that narrows it down to only a couple of them. So,
Yeah.
it could have been Omaha. Hold on. What were the other American beaches? I can't remember them all. Juneau and Sword were not American beaches, so it couldn't have been them. One second. Let's see. Utah and Omaha were the American beaches, I think. Gold, Juneau, and Sword were basically everybody else, if I remember correctly. It has been a while.
Yeah.
So,
I know, right?
he was almost certainly at either Utah or Omaha. Not 100% guaranteed, but... because it's not like they didn't have Americans at the other three. It's just that America was like, yeah, we'll take those two.
Yeah, the only thing I remember is he basically said it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, I can imagine. I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want anybody to do that. One of the craziest fucking things that any group of people has ever done. Ever. By like a massive margin.
Yep, and then you had people airdropping in behind enemy lines, and then, oh no, we're off course. And then it's like, okay, fuck it. We ride.
Yeah, the paratrooper stuff from D-Day is pretty fun to look at and study, just because of the constant, like, everybody was spread out all over the place. but everybody kind of knew what needed to happen. So you would end up with troops from completely different companies all working together.
Yep.
And sometimes it was like, well, we're so far off of all of our objectives that, like, we don't even have anything nearby that we, actually, like, any of our main objectives are anywhere near us where we landed. Or because it was the dead of night and they couldn't see anything and they had no idea where they were. So they just started banding up into groups and taking towns.
Yep.
It's just like, fuck it. None of our objectives are anywhere near us. We're not entirely sure where we are. Let's just take the nearest town.
Yep.
And hold the road. Done.
Yep. It's freaking insane how the U.S. doctrine of, try to keep order, but, if your command structure is broken, continue.
Just do something.
Do something. Continue on related objectives. Do something. So instead of sitting there whittling their thumbs every 5 seconds, they would just be like, yeah, like you said, liberate a town, or they'd end up finding some Germans and starting a fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just blowing shit up.
It's the American doctrine of, we've completely lost our chain of command, we don't know where we are, and we don't know what our objectives are. But there are guys with guns over there, so we're gonna go fuck them up.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
Fun historical fact, the last person, I don't remember which Native American tribe it was, during World War II, he actually was the last person to
speakers?
fulfill all the requirements of being chief.
Code talkers? Was he a code talker?
No.
Or,
so
no, this is the Apache guy.
Yeah, you had to touch
I'm pretty
an
sure
enemy,
he was
not bring
Apache.
in, steal his horses.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Apache, but I'm not 100% sure. But yes, he met all of the requirements.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like, I think the only other time that shit started happening was during, what was it? I think it was Iraq that people realized just running in the middle of the night with your flashlight on and, screaming at people is probably not the best way to be stealthy. So they got into practice of, what if we go in quiet with night vision? And then eventually the game became, how many times can you, touch a person or take their shit before you wake them up and tell them, we're here to arrest you? Yeah, apparently during World War II that happened quite a bit. They sneak up on the Germans to steal their horses.
That's fucking funny.
Germany didn't have vehicles like the U.S. did.
Yeah, no, they didn't have the... we retooled several Ford factories to produce this one truck that you can disassemble and put inside of a box and ship across the ocean.
Yep.
And the Allies, I don't remember the name of the truck, but every World War II documentary, every World War II war movie has this fucking cargo truck. And they made thousands and thousands and thousands of these things. And the whole point was that you would create this kit, which would go in a box that you could then easily fit inside of a ship, send it across the ocean. And then once it got across the ocean, it was like assembling IKEA furniture.
Yep.
You just put everything together, boom, truck.
Could do it in like 5 minutes.
Exactly. And the Germans had trucks, but they just didn't have that. They didn't have the ability to make... Oh my god, I just went flying. Let me see if I can do that again. No, damn. They didn't have the ability to just make tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of fucking vehicles.
Yep. And then on top of that, a lot of people, I think it was Japan and Germany, were like, we're fucked because everyone else is like struggling to get it field enough ships. And the US is like, yeah, we made this new ship. Its sole purpose is to make fucking ice cream.
Oh yeah, the ice cream barges are such a big deal.
Yeah.
The ice cream barges are perfect because A, they're great for morale. You're in the middle of the fucking Pacific jungles. and it is hot and humid and miserable, and hey, here's some ice cream. Right? Insanity.
Yep.
And it's also really bad for enemy morale. When,
Because they're like, we don't get ice
well, because they're barely eating,
cream. Yeah.
and the Americans are spending millions of
Getting
dollars to send ice cream barges everywhere. It's one of those things that was so unbelievable that they thought it was propaganda. Like, there's no way the Americans would waste that many war resources just to send ice cream to islands in the Pacific.
How fucking petty we are.
And remember, if there's one thing you must know about Americans, do not ever touch our boats.
Never touch the boats.
You can do anything else you want, but don't touch the boats for the love of God.
Never
Don't
touch the
our
boats. Pretty much any time another nation has touched America's boats, it has ended in that nation's complete destruction in some form or another.
Okay.
The, like, one exception is the War of 1812, and that's because it was the British Empire.
I mean, I think we kind of kicked their asses. And
Well, they
then,
did burn down DC,
Yeah.
so it's a little iffy on that one, of who won that war. And that was mostly because of the British conscription thing, where British naval vessels would just stop American merchant vessels and be like,
Yep.
hey, you guys, like, you 10 to 15 sailors, yeah, you're in the British Navy now. Or the Royal, you're in the Royal Marine. And the US was like, hey, you need to stop doing that. Like, you can't just keep kidnapping people.
Yep. And Britain's like, you can't stop us press ganging. And we're like, yeah, you sure about that?
And then we had a war over it, and it was, I mean, we got what we wanted in the end, but whether we won is questionable. That's one of those wars where it's like, yeah, we got what we wanted, but they did burn down DC. Like,
But then we built a better DC.
we did, and nobody has burned that one down yet. Not for lack of trying.
Tried to throw some planes at it. That didn't work.
But yeah, don't touch America's boats. It's a bad idea. There was recently a story. The USS Eisenhower had I think a Houthi missile hit the water like 200 meters away. And I think that they said that they're doing an investigation on how the fuck that happened. But that would have been really bad. If an anti-ship missile hit an American supercarrier, it would have been really bad. So on one hand, they got unlucky in that it got that close. On the other hand, we got really lucky that it didn't hit it because, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of those, like, oh, you guys have been fucking around for years and years and years. Now you're going to find out.
Yep, that's what happened to Taliban in Afghanistan. The two guys who were part of the team that brought down the chopper with the SEALs on it, they were kind of laughing about it over the radio. So they first did a flyby and dropped, I think, Hellfire missiles on the site, killing them. Then they went over with a fucking gunship and just unloaded all of the bullets. Not just some of the bullets. All of the bullets, and then flew over and dropped a different kind of missile on it. And then I think they did another flyby with a gunship, and then dropped even more missiles on the location.
Yeah.
That's slightly overkill.
There was that one time, the battleship Iowa? I don't remember. One of the World War II battleships that they kept using in Korea and Vietnam. They took a hit from an artillery position, and they responded by deleting the hill that artillery was on.
Yep.
That's the temper story. where one of the ship's escorts used the signal lights to flash temper after it happened.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, the battleship got hit by, like, a artillery shell, took a minimal damage, maybe 1 or 2 people died, I don't remember, and they responded with, that hill over there, where that artillery is on, delete it.
Yep.
They hit the fucking hill with a full barrage.
Yep.
And it did not exist once they were done.
Yeah.
It's the, so, Soviet Womble is a YouTuber, Twitch streamer, and he plays a lot of Arma stuff. And he's done some of those, like, insurgency Arma mods where you basically run an insurgency and you do missions and whatnot, right?
Yep.
Or your guerrilla fighters or militia, whatever. And they decided to do a one where American troops are occupying the island and you're trying to, you know, get rid of them. And the perfect line from that part of the video is when he says, the Americans have absolutely no chill.
Yep.
I can't remember the exact thing, but they were hanging out after doing a mission, and they look up, and he's like, is that a drone? And he says something along the lines of, we stole some beat-up truck, and they responded with an $8 million drone. Or that one mission they were doing where they hit a checkpoint, an American checkpoint, and they responded by deploying SEAL teams.
That sounds about right.
And they got their fucking shit rocked.
Yep.
They hit a checkpoint. Like 2 minutes into hitting the checkpoint, a bunch of little birds show up and deploy SEAL teams. And then for the next, like, hour, the American forces just have gunships and bombers in the area, just leveling everything. And yeah, no, America has no chill.
No, I don't.
You touch our shit and we fuck you up.
Yeah, I mean, the Paul Bunyan incident is just like, Jesus Christ, they took everything stationed around Japan and just moved it into North Korea's visual range and was like, look, we're chopping this tree down. If you so much as even move a pinky towards us, we will destroy your entire country.
Yeah, no, that one was nuts when they sent 2 guys out to cut down a tree and they got killed.
Yeah.
Or 3 guys.
Yeah, I know at least one of them was a U.S. Marine, if I remember right. Yeah.
So the next course of action the U.S. took was basically deploying an entire army.
Yep. Tanks, ships, airplanes. They had nuclear bombers on the horizon.
Yep. And then they sent out a team of guys with chainsaws. They cut the tree down, and then they all went home.
Yep, and then the South Korean Marines.
Like I said, we are spiteful. This is the thing that you must know about us. We have no chill, and we are spiteful.
Yeah.
Yeah, the South Korean Marines, I think they smuggled guns and then claymores in the dirt bags or whatever. So they took out the claymores, strapped them to their chest, and made them live, and then dared the fucking North Koreans to cross the bridge and come fuck with them again.
Yeah, they literally strapped claymores to their fucking chests. And for those that don't know, claymores are those rectangular-shaped anti-personnel mines full of ball bearings.
Yeah.
So when they go off, I mean, if it's strapped to your chest, you're gonna die when it goes off. But
I mean, pretty much anything strapped to your chest, it's gonna explode.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But the whole point of claymores is that they're shaped like a C. And when they explode, the front explodes out in an arc. And it's just ball bearings. And they just fuck people up. Very old tech. I mean, claymores are like 40, 60 years old at this point. They've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
I learned a thing about the USS Constitution yesterday, I think.
The oldest serving ship in the Navy.
I already knew that.
Oh.
No, I learned that it's made of southern live oak.
Oh yeah. That's an extension of that is one of the reasons why the lumber industry in America was so big in that time period, is because you could get very high quality wood for building ships.
Do you know Chris from the I Beat It First channel?
Chris from the what?
I Beat It First.
Yes. Yes.
He has a very large chest piece tattoo of the USS Constitution.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, when I went to Boston, I didn't get a chance to see it, but someday I'll go back.
Same. Although it's easier for you to go back than for me.
Yeah, it's still a long drive, but it's not like an impossibly long drive for me. It's like 5 hours ish.
That's not really a long drive.
Which for the States, not a very long drive.
Being from Texas, that's not a long drive.
No, it's not. But for someone that grew up in the Northeast where everything is right there.
Yes. Different frame of reference,
and
for sure.
You get really motion sick. Because I get really motion sick when I'm in a car for more than a few hours.
Oof.
Yeah, anything more than like 3 hours is bad.
It is a 13.25-hour drive for me.
Yeah, America has no chill, as we have established.
And we're spiteful.
Yeah. There was another good example that I can't remember now of America having no chill.
I mean,
there's a lot of them.
One.
There are a lot
Last
of them.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time a cartel has decided to hurt or attempt to injure either an U.S. undercover, or in one case they threatened U.S. embassy staff who had a informant in the vehicle and they demanded they hand him over.
Mm-hmm.
Literally everyone involved in threatening the U.S. staff or injuring or killing the U.S. agent ended up dead within a few years.
Yeah, that was a plot point on that DEA show. I can't remember the name of. Narcos.
Yep.
It was a plot point very early, like literally the intro of the first episode, I think.
Yep.
That one of the cartels killed a DEA agent, and the U.S. responded with overwhelming force.
Yep.
And all of the cartels had a standing order after that point that you don't fucking touch them.
Yep, you just turn them back over.
For that reason, because it's like the U.S. has absolutely no chill.
Yeah,
you killed one of our guys. There's basically two outcomes to you killed one of our guys. Number one is it would be politically problematic for the U.S. to do anything about it. Number two, you get your shit rocked. Those are the outcomes.
Yep.
Because there are exceptions to the don't touch our stuff rule. Sometimes the U.S. does not respond with overwhelming force on very rare occasions. If it would be a problem.
Yep. Yeah, that's what got Pablo Escobar is basically the CIA and Delta Force started working with the government and organizations that were against Pablo.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of the conspiracy theory is the shot that took down Pablo was Delta Force.
I believe it. You don't fuck with Delta. They're the very definition of fuck around and find out.
And then also conspiracy theory is a group called Los Pepes, which was the people persecuted by Pablo Escobar, was basically intelligence agencies, people actually persecuted by Pablo and people trained by Delta Force, because they were extraordinarily effective in literally taking out anyone who did business with him.
Mm-hmm.
From bankers to lawyers to shop owners, literally anyone who took money for Pablo ended up dead.
What an interesting country we have, considering we're only 200-ish years old.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think people realize how good we have it.
No, they really don't. I mean, we've had, like, what, 4 or 5 years of peace in the entire history of this country?
Yep.
Like...
Yeah,
We've
it's just,
basically been at war constantly, in some way or another.
Yep. Yeah, it's just, I think
Well,
a lot
according
of
to Freakonomics, and this article is from 2017, we have been at war 222 out of 239 years.
Yeah, that checks out.
So 93%.
Yeah.
We're at
And you said that was what, 20 what?
17.
Okay, you can add 7 to that.
Uh-huh.
And we don't have to check any of it, because I am 99% sure that the last 7 years count. So we're probably closer to like 94%, 95% now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's insanity.
Yep.
The US is
Yeah.
just at war all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
All the
Yeah,
fucking time.
from a geopolitics, history, and anthropology standpoint, it's just, I feel post-World War II, everybody got very comfortable with the U.S. being the international
World police. Yeah.
world police, and then people forgot what it was like beforehand with territory disputes and all the other shenanigans that go along with that. And then suddenly now it's bad, and suddenly they're realizing, oh no, I don't want to have to worry if I wake up tomorrow and another country has suddenly annexed my front room.
Yeah, I heard there were some more heated calls for the European Union to have a standing defense force.
Yep.
I don't know if they'll actually do it or not, because it does come up every so often.
So, I mean, how does that work? 'Cause I know at least some of the individual countries have a standing military.
I'm pretty sure they all have a standing military.
Yeah.
It would probably just be like NATO, but without the US.
Yeah.
And whoever else,
Which we're probably not going to be part of anymore anyway.
probably at some point.
He's already said.
Yep. But yeah, that's probably what it will end up being. It's just all the European Union countries will have to contribute a certain amount.
Yeah, it's also going to be fun getting them all to work together to decide on the command structure, because France and Germany, for one, never can agree on who should lead things, and they both want to be the top dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's all the communications that have to work together, finding a common dialect and, you know, lingo, and it's just a fucking nightmare of getting
It would be
all of the
really
things
fucking
proper.
funny if they picked English as their common dialogue,
It
considering
probably would be, honestly.
probably for obvious reasons, because, you know, NATO's like standard dialogue most of the time is English.
Well,
And
not only that, but
most
like,
European countries teach English as a second language.
and people over there are actually fluent in the second language that they have
Right.
learned.
Right. But it would be really funny if they picked English as the European Union's like military language without a single primary English-speaking country being a part of the Union.
Yep.
Actually, hold on.
That would be very funny.
I have a feeling France would probably veto it just because the French are like, we must speak French.
Yeah,
Same with the Germans.
the Germans
They
and the French.
officially have 24 languages.
Yeah. But for a military, they would have to pick something.
Yeah.
Because it would cause problems.
Yeah, they have a huge interoperability issue with all of their defense tech.
Well, that's
English,
why...
French, and German are considered procedural languages.
Yeah, that checks out.
English and French were used in day-to-day working. Yeah, it's like it would be English.
It would be English, but with the constant bitching from the French and the Germans.
Yes. Who all speak fluent English.
Who all speak English. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably what it would be. It would be English, because it's the most practical.
Yeah.
But they would constantly be bitching about it.
Yes.
Especially the French and the Germans.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, you just
I
said there's
tried to speak
27
German.
languages, but the only ones that people actually care about are those 3.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I tried to speak my German because I took German in school to a German friend of mine, and he just stopped me and he said, please stop, just speak English. It'll be easier for both of us.
Yeah, I took German in college, but I don't remember most of it.
Ich weiß nicht.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I said, ich weiß nicht. I know not.
Oh, that's that word. I was like, what the fuck is vice?
I
I was trying to figure
do
out
not
that.
get told to stop speaking Spanish.
Well, thankfully, with Spanish, there are so many countries that speak Spanish in different ways. There's a certain acceptance that as long as you're trying, people will...
Well, no, like I have native Spanish speakers tell me that my pronunciation is really good.
Oh.
Helps that I grew up around a lot of native Spanish speakers.
But there are a lot of countries that speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And in slightly different ways.
Yep.
And they usually just
Bonjour.
appreciate the fact that you're speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
You run into
Unlike
problems
people-
with
Which
German
I mean,
and French.
a lot of people. It depends where you are in those countries. In Paris, yeah, they don't like if you're not speaking. If you're a tourist and not speaking perfect French, get the fuck out.
Oh my god, even if you are speaking proper French, they'll still
Yeah.
tell you that you're not.
Yeah,
Yep.
Quebec is hilarious in that way that someone who was immigrating from France was told her French was not good enough and
Yep.
they needed to preserve the French language more. And it's like, but I'm French. I'm from France.
It's
I
my
can't
native
preserve it.
language.
Yeah, I can't preserve it anymore.
Yeah, no, there's a pretty common sentiment in Quebec that they're the only true French,
Yep.
and that France's French is bastardized and corrupted.
Yep.
It's funny because when I went to Niagara Falls, I met a lot of very nice people. The only person I met that was a dick was from Quebec.
Makes sense.
Spoke
Yeah.
French. The only one. The only asshole the whole time was at fucking Timmy's, and the guy decided to skip to the front of the line, and then when people complained, he bitched at them in French. Only guy.
Did
only
everybody
asshole.
flip him off? Because I would have.
Yes, but ultimately the staff at Tim Hortons were like, whatever. Just serve the guy and then he'll leave.
Yeah, but see, that just lets him gives him the impression that he should do it again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the people that are making coffee and, you know, that stuff at Tim Hortons do not give a shit. I wouldn't ask them to do that anyway. That's a manager's
So-
job.
That
Yeah,
reminded
it is
me.
a manager's job. I agree with you there.
Have you two heard of the streamer Johnny Somali?
No.
I have the guy that's not allowed to
Yeah.
leave Korea.
Makes me
he's now
think
stuck
of
in
the
Korea.
Disney
He's been in-
Channel original movie Johnny Tsunami.
Yeah. So long story short, he just goes around trolling people and causing trouble and stuff. But he overdid it in Japan and then really pushed the boundaries in South Korea to the point that there was an open bounty for people to beat him up, and people were crowdfunding to pay the people's legal bills for beating him up.
Yeah.
So some dude who was former South Korean Special Forces beat him up, has been indicted, then the public outcry was so bad they ended up arresting him because they didn't want him to A, get beaten up worse, and B, the public outcry for the stuff he pulled was getting too big.
Yeah,
He was
basically
facing up to 10
his
years.
entire content career is being an asshole.
Yep. Yeah, Japanese prisons do not fuck around. We would have got sent. Would have better if we got sent to Japanese prison.
You know where I would like to go? Norwegian prison.
I mean,
Where?
if I had to pick a prison, but I don't want to go. But if I had my pick of the litter, Norway's prisons are very nice.
Yeah, Japan's are basically like, you get up at this time, you go to bed at this time. You only speak during these hours. You don't speak to other prisoners. You don't speak to the guard unless you're like ill or dying. You aren't allowed to speak to the guard at all. Your
What do
cell
you
has
do?
to be.
Like, you
literally-
can't speak to anybody or do anything. Like, what do you do?
They
So
put you to
basically in
work.
your cell, you're supposed to sit there quietly and read or whatever
Okay, so you can't at least like
entertainment
have
they give you.
books.
That's it.
Okay.
You aren't allowed to like talk to other prisoners and get in trouble. And,
Yeah.
like, you get, I believe, a mat to lay on and like a pillow, and that's it.
Pretty much, yeah.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
Japan's entire
they're-
justice system is a fucking mess.
Yep. They do not fuck around.
It's the whole reason the Ace Attorney series exists. It's because their system is a fucking mess.
Yep. It's sort of a weird dual-pronged thing. Is people get away with shit they shouldn't have, but once they bring a case, they are pretty damn sure they can prove that you did it. So it's basically a 99-point-something conviction rate. Very few people actually manage to convince a judge that they're innocent.
Yeah.
And a lot of people plead out because that gets you a massively reduced sentence by admitting guilt. Oh yeah, this afternoon I got a drink in the kitchen, was coming back to go back to work, and something in the trash can shifted, and I heard Blue's little paws on the aisle in the kitchen, like make a cartoon noise as she tried to run as fast as she could away from it. And then I just see her kind of, once she gets out of the kitchen, she looks back like panicky at where the noise came from, and then slowly starts backing away.
Aww.
What was it?
Just a piece of paper towel in the trash can
Settling.
fell over. So she immediately panicked and ran.
Poor baby.
She
Those
is
paper
scared-
towels, they killed millions every year.
She's scared of everything.
Rue has betrayed Vague.
I know, right? I can't believe it.
What happened?
He has been replaced as Rue's favorite male peasant.
Oh.
Yep. Rue looked so relaxed and happy, I can't be mad at him.
Yeah.
He was just like, I am vibing here.
He got Rune snuggles.
Oh.
Yeah. We went out there because it was his birthday yesterday.
Gotcha. Alright, this will probably be the last one.
Yeah.
Wait, we aren't going to do all of the Warhammer DLC in a row?
Well, we can't.
Yeah, we can't do the Thunderhawk.
Well, we can't do it all three of us anyway, because... Oh, wait, no, but you can. Never mind.
Yeah, the Thunderhawk is the only one that I can't host because
Yeah.
it's the only one I didn't do solo.
Yeah.
Because I started it, looked at it for about 10 seconds, and then noped the fuck out.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I was like, I'm not doing this by myself. This is going to take too
You
fucking
can
long.
have one person help you.
Yeah, I need to get somebody to help me because that is going to be a nightmare to do solo.
Well, I don't have a whole lot going on right now, so...
All of the Warhammer ones are tedious.
Yeah. God, that... Oh, wait, no, I haven't even done the Warhammer ones. I'm thinking of one of the ones from the Final Fantasy shit.
Yeah, I haven't done any of them. But the Warhammer ones are all extremely tedious. Like, individual headlights are all separate parts that you have to clean.
Yep.
And shit like that. It's fucking annoying.
Yep.
The Final Fantasy ones are that way, too.
Oh, good.
Did you finish career mode?
No. I'm like 70% of the way through, I think. Ish. Oh boy, Rust, my favorite.
That's a game right there.
You know, it's funny, I played Rust when it was super early access, and have not played it since.
Yep. Same.
It is a completely different game now. Have not played it since.
Yep. It's me and Project Zomboid. I played the original game. And I played, like, the first iteration after they lost their code base. And then they've lost their code base, like, 2 other times since.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they lost it in a flood the first time, and then they didn't put in, like, a versioning system and backup, so their laptop, they had a break-in and somebody stole all their source code. They didn't have a backup, so they just start over again.
Wow.
I am amazed that they had to learn that lesson multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's pretty bad, guys.
Yeah, I mean...
You know how many times I've lost code changes because I forgot to commit for like 2 days?
Yep.
Once. I did it once. And I've never made that mistake again.
Yep.
Because it was horrific.
Yeah. All I can say is at work is I know there are...
Maybe they're ADHD.
Could be that.
Some companies are not great with running versioning systems, or even a backup, like literally just backing up the person's code every day, since they refuse to use a versioning system. And,
Yeah, at the very least, you have to have at least one backup. You really should have more than one,
backups,
but...
no nothing, so... Yeah, it's not great.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty fucking bad, guys. Version control and backups have never been easier.
Yeah.
There's really no excuse at this point. Our head DevOps guy, he handles all of the making sure that the version control stuff is being followed and yada yada yada. All that fun stuff. There are definitely days where I pass him in the hall and I am genuinely concerned that he's just going to implode out of pure anger.
Yep.
I do not envy his job.
Yep, I'm kind of there with my job at some points. I am literally done with being everybody's babysitter. If I wanted to work with kids, I would have got a job working with kids.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, I know.
So maybe you should, I don't know, look for something else.
That's what I did, but I couldn't find anything that I really liked. I had this one company that had an FBI contract get back to me and say that, hey, it's fully remote position, but the most we can offer you is $85,000 a year. And I was like,
yeah, you told us about that one.
oh, did I?
Yeah.
Did I tell you,
Yep.
Vague?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you told us
and-
on stream about that one.
Yeah. And then I had another company come to me that wanted 5 days on site, and I would have to move, but they were offering me like 130.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but you're asking me to like move to DC. That's not really a raise.
Yep.
That's a pay
No,
cut.
no, it's not. Yeah. And also, don't live in DC.
God no, DC is only nice as like a day trip or a 2-day trip place. Like you go there for 1 or 2 days to go see the
I'd
museums and
stay
shit.
there for a week or two, but I don't live there.
I couldn't stand it. My lungs would die. It's very stinky.
Doesn't stink.
DC very stinky.
Not in my
From all the
experience.
pork. The politicians get it.
Yeah.
Very
So,
stinky.
well, you've developed an allergy to the politicians.
I've always had an allergy to people that are not genuine.
That's fair. I mean, my Twitch bio does literally say I'm allergic to bullshit.
I always liked Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only has he always been pretty genuine, he backs it up.
Yep.
Like, he was marching with the civil rights movement back in the day, and he says that he believes in that shit. It's like, yeah, he clearly does.
And has for a very long time.
Yep. And he's reasonable. I may not agree with all of his policies, but he's a reasonable man when discussing things.
He's an example of one that I like.
He's a
Because I don't
modern-day
always agree with him,
Jeff.
but at least he's genuine, and you
I
know
think
where
you would
he
like
stands.
Jeff Jackson.
The pumpkin only cares about one thing, and that's himself and his money. Which I guess is
Foggy
technically genuine, but not in the way that I like. It's like, once you understand that that's all he cares about, then a lot of his things make sense. But he still lies a lot.
Yeah, I feel like the best way to get rid of someone's legacy is just to designate the area around their grave as the national bathroom.
That will do it.
Just build the world's largest bathroom complex.
We talked about this last week, but I was pleased when Kissinger finally kicked the bucket.
Oh, did you watch that thing I sent you?
Which thing?
The TikTok.
I don't. Did you send it to me on TikTok?
No, I sent it to you in Discord.
Personal?
I think it's in the group chat. Hold on.
Let me look. Da, 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 da. Oh, Kiss Kiss Reloaded?
Yeah.
I did not watch that. I will watch it after we're done.
Okay.
I don't like TikTok as a company.
That's fair.
I will occasionally watch TikToks that people send me, and I have an account so that I can upload to TikTok. So I can upload shorts to TikTok. But I'm not happy about it.
That's fair.
Just like how I deleted a bunch of my tweets, but I'm not going to delete the account because reach.
Yeah.
And somebody could steal your name and be fake AWOL.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody wants to be me.
See, that's sort of the issue I really hate is it's so easy to squat on usernames or to impersonate people if they don't register their name everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very hard to prove that I am not the person saying fucked up things on the internet.
At some point, you just have to tell people, yeah, that's not me, and if they don't believe you, they don't believe you.
Yeah, that was sort of an issue 3 or 4 years ago, that somebody was basically pretending to be female streamers on like Instagram who didn't have them, and pretending they were like running an OnlyFans, but like off the books, and you'd have to subscribe directly for cash or crypto.
When Twitter did away with their verification, there were a lot of problems.
Yep.
Well, they didn't do away with it.
Well, no, they just made it worse in every way, but yeah.
And put it behind a paywall.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of problems when that happened. Like, companies lost money
Yep.
from fake accounts.
Yep. God, what was that protest group that crashed one stock by releasing a fake press release?
Oh, I don't remember, but yeah, it was... Oh, fuck, was it a bank? No.
I think it was a drug company was on Twitter, but before that somebody else did the same type of thing. A protest, comedy group, and they crashed the company's stock.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, the Twitter one I think was for insulin. Their stock just dumpstered when they made that fake announcement.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it was a pharmaceutical. Yep. Yeah, fuck them. I don't care.
Fuck insulin makers.
Insulin is especially bad. Like, I mean, the price gouging on drugs is bad for everything.
Yeah.
But insulin is especially bad because the whole reason why the original formula was made public domain was so that people couldn't do that. So the companies just came up with new formulas and ways of, like... processes and, like, the EpiPen and stuff. And then they just charge a gazillion dollars for that instead. And that's the thing that makes it so much worse, is it's like, this person, people, discovered this thing that has saved so many lives. And they wanted to make sure that anybody could make it so that people wouldn't die because they couldn't afford it. And then you just went and shit all over that. Like, that's fucked up. I think they did the same thing with penicillin.
Yep.
And that's why even today, penicillin is so cheap, whereas a lot of other antibiotics are not.
I've never had penicillin.
I'm sure I've had it at least once when I had, like...
Because I am probably allergic.
I don't know. I'm sure I've had it at least once while I was in a hospital or a surgical suite or whatever.
My mom and grandma are both allergic.
My grandfather was allergic to penicillin and aspirin.
Thankfully, I did not inherit my grandma's other allergy, which is MSG.
Oh no.
A lot of people just get headaches from MSG. So, like...
I don't know what happens if she has it.
It's technically an allergy because you get a headache. So, like, it counts. But it's not that egregious. Like, you could still have Chinese takeout, you know?
I mean, that's me and all of my food allergies except for strawberries and melon. Like, it's minor. I will live if I eat the thing.
It's just a question of whether it's worth it.
Yes. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Popcorn, not worth it to me. Bread, worth it to me.
Yeah, I wish I could eat bread.
Yeah.
You could instead play hit video game I Am Bread and suffer the same way, but in a different method of pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that one of those torture simulators?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It made Bull throw his controller and break it.
Yeah, I don't play torture simulators. I've made that a pretty standard rule. Like, getting over it, stuff like that. I just
I
don't.
will give you $2
It's so much
and 50
worse.
cents.
than getting
I-
over it.
I will not play those. They're torture simulators. The whole point is that they torture the player. And I don't play them, because I don't think they're video games.
That's fair.
And I'm here to enjoy myself. Sometimes suffering is enjoyable, like Dark Souls. And every shooter ever made. But eventually it stops
And
being
if you're a
enjoyable,
masochist.
and once it hits that point, I'm not interested anymore.
Suffer well. I much enjoyed this game with the keyboard and mouse.
Yep.
And with the controller.
Yep.
This is painful. I'm literally just sitting here moving 2 sticks on my controller and nothing else.
You know what else is painful?
What?
Playing a Dragon Age game with mouse and keyboard.
Ugh.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've all been, like, designed for console, so...
Yep.
It's like playing Mass Effect with a mouse and keyboard. You can do it, but
Yeah.
definitely not what it was designed for.
Nope. And I don't know where my controller is.
Or the reverse, when you play an RTS on a console with a controller, and you can clearly tell that this is not what it was meant for. Because I've done that. I've played RTSs with a controller, and it's fucking miserable. That's how I played Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth.
God.
I played that shit on the 360.
Why
That
would
was a
you
good
torture
game.
yourself?
It was a good game!
Yeah, but playing that without mouse and keyboard, oof.
Yep, I know. I enjoyed the fuck out of it, though. I liked playing as the dwarves.
Oh, I think I told Vague, but I don't think I told you. Guess what the key is to jump in Belgard?
Why?
F.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I went with Y because I was like, oh, what if they just made the Y button on the controller the same key on the keyboard? That's why I went with Y.
No, it's F, and space is to dodge or roll. So I swapped that.
Yeah, guys, Look. In general, video game controls have not changed much in the last 10 years, and there's a good fucking reason for that. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel, okay?
I also
Game developers,
swapped
knock it off.
the button to take a potion was R, and I swapped it to T because I kept pressing it by accident when I went to hit E, which is to interact and do a lot of other shit.
Right. Now, having space as the dodge button is not terrible, because other games have done that when you need to hit the dodge button a lot.
I need to jump more than I need to dodge.
Right.
And I feel like, and like I'm used to jumping with space, so that was also an issue.
Yeah, I have definitely played games where space is the dodge button and it was fine, because you needed to dodge all the time anyway,
Yeah.
like constantly.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, you're probably supposed to dodge a lot more than I do because the enemies all want your dick.
Man, I wish enemies wanted my dick.
Instructions unclear. AWOL got a blowjob from the workshop.
I don't even care. Don't even care. At least I got a blowjob.
Oh my god. I'm just imagining the thumbs up selfie in the helmet in the hospital. Oh god. That hurt.
Don't die.
God, I almost choked at that gif I sent you earlier of the rabbits. I'm just like, usually they're very wholesome, and that rabbit's fucking pies. I'm just like, I can't tell if the rabbit's being lewd, evil, or what the fuck is going on.
Nature
This cat.
finds a way.
Oh, cats, not rabbits. My bad.
And it's definitely being horny. It was that one.
Oh, yes. Definitely horny. I wonder what that's like. Being horny. I've never been horny in my life.
No, right? Sure. I totally believe you.
I wonder
I
what
mean,
it's like being
aren't-
horny with other people in the room that are also horny.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
That I believe. The other one, no.
I've never been horny in my life.
No.
I'm only horny for Jesus Christ.
God.
God damn it.
You couldn't even say that, like, without laughing.
I'm only horny for Jesus. The Lord will guide my hips in heaven.
God.
God damn it.
Amen.
Oh my god. Do y'all just, like, never hit tab?
I do. Except on the controller, it's right.
I hit tab constantly. Why do you ask?
There's so much that's not done.
Yeah, I get distracted.
And
And then I go to do other stuff for a bit. So that... Because I don't want to do everything all at once, because then I want to... Like, my brain goes like...
You want the all-at-once dopamine rush instead of the smaller ones
Yeah,
continuously?
I have to alternate what I'm doing. So I don't lose my mind. And then I'll come back and finish stuff.
See, mine is the opposite. I want to finish a thing and then move on to the next thing.
For me, I just follow wherever the tides of chaos lead me. I mean, Emperor
It also
protects.
checks out for you. Yeah.
Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne.
Blood for the blood god.
Why did you say that like Richard Nixon?
I am not a crook.
You kind of did, yeah.
God damn it. I never thought Richard Nixon actually would worship corn.
I mean... If you had to pick a chaos god for Nixon... He definitely wasn't a Zinch. He had a lot of plots, but he wasn't very good at them. So...
I mean, isn't that the whole point? Unless you are literally the god himself. Your plots are not as great as the gods.
True. Very true. Hi, Zilia.
Hello, Zilia.
Hi, Zelia. Did Big pass on the thing that I told him to?
I think I forgot to hit enter.
Wow.
Damn, that's
Wow.
pretty bad.
It happens a lot when I have to switch between multiple conversations. I will send it now. Alright, I'll be sleeping on the couch for another week.
It's okay, my dad's been sleeping on the couch for like 15 years.
How did that happen?
Mostly because of the snoring.
Fair.
His snoring was really bad to the point where, like, literally nobody else upstairs could sleep.
Yeah, my dad. That's what.
You lot. Oh,
We lost you, Vig.
hello.
The call's being intercepted.
I hear you. I hear you now.
Great.
Welcome back, Vig.
I am back. Brain something.
Zilia, why have you been sleeping on the couch for 2 months? Is it because of your back, or because you don't have a bed? Basically, I just want to know if this is justified, or if I have to be annoyed with you. Okay, because of your back. Got it. That is justified.
And I don't have a bed.
Okay, so it's justified for now, but it will cease to be justified at some nebulous point in the future. Got it.
So, did I just disconnect out of Discord, or what happened?
You just went robotic.
You went robotic and then poofed. Like, you didn't poof out of the call, but, like, I didn't hear anything for, like, 10
Yeah, there was
seconds.
silence.
Yeah, this laptop doesn't like it when I try to connect to multiple things at once.
Don't worry,
You're only
Zilia. I'll
in
be there
one
to help.
game.
I will help you. All I ask in return is, eternal servitude.
I thought for sure you were going to say a free lunch.
I thought he was going to ask for a blowjob.
Oh, I would never do that. That's a little, you're the one serving me? You got it, boss. You said it, not me. I got what I wanted in the end. No, I wouldn't do that. Because that's
No, I
a
know you
little,
wouldn't.
that's a little too aggressive for me.
Yeah. No, you don't say.
Just a bit. I definitely saw something that was unfinished over here. There it is. Question is why? Yeah, Zelia, I'll help you finish unpacking if you give me the guest room and let me move in. And also find me a job.
Did we lose
Find
Big
you a
again?
job.
There you are.
Why the fuck is this thing not... These are many things, yes. Alternatively,
Did you send the
you
thing
could
yet?
just, yeah, he did. Alternatively, you could just, buy me dinner. So your choices are buy me dinner, or, let me move in. Take your pick. Oh, of course. There's no way I wouldn't. I'm not a moocher. I'm not my dad. Yay! Oh, that's not the button I wanted to hit.
Things you can say while playing video games and in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would recommend, not hitting the wrong button in the bedroom. That could end very poorly.
Instructions unclear. Bed is now folded in half.
Instructions unclear. No longer have a penis attached to my body.
Yeah.
I feel like you may have underestimated what the worst case scenario is there.
Well, if the bed is folded in half, he can't sleep on it.
And if you're inside, you probably...
I would be nice and cozy.
Da 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 da. So I get to move in, Zelia? Great.
Just don't be like a friend of mine and on move-in day, just show up with your computer and a pair of socks. And then be like, oh, I should have brought more stuff.
I have a lot of my own furniture, so it'll be fine. The only thing is I have to get a new desk. But I wanted to build my next computer desk anyway.
Right. That was the other thing I needed to do.
Yep, that's what happened to me.
I need to find my tape measure.
I could not fit my desk in the move.
Yeah, I mean, I could, but I've had this desk for like 12 years. And it's pretty beat up. I had planned on building a new desk, like, for this room, but never did because of the, you know... I don't want to put in all of that work into a house that I don't own. Among other things. And if you custom build a desk for a room, it's like... You're kind of fucked.
Yep.
Tell you what, Zelia, if I find a job that will actually let me work fully remote, I'll hit you up. We can be roommates.
Roommates.
I'll make curry.
You know, I'm not sure how to reply to that.
Oh, I'm sure I will be. Zelia had a landlord that tried to add a clause to the contract stating that they were not allowed to cook curry
Yep.
in the house
Wow.
Yep.
because of the smell.
And then it proceeded to get even more racist from that point.
And it only got more racist from that point.
That's why I was like, I don't know how to reply to that.
Yeah. Indian curry. Specifically Indian curry. Whatever. So not only is he a racist, he's a stupid racist.
Make all the curry. Although I do mainly cook Thai curry.
Oh, I do love me some Thai curry.
I have yellow Thai curry paste right now, and I'm just like thinking about the things I could cook if I could, you know, get the focus and willpower to cook.
I had chicken satay for dinner tonight with a peanut sauce. I think that's the big thing, is a lot of Thai curries have nuts, like peanut
Yes.
and other stuff, and that
Mainly peanut. Yeah.
it adds that extra creaminess, and I think it makes such a big difference. Okie dokie, Zilia, take care, be safe, good luck. The wedding ring will show up in the mail tomorrow.
Later, Zil. Hope you get to feeling better, my friend.
Bye, Jill.
Six more weeks? I sure hope so. If I know anything about doctors, you can usually, most of the time, trust them when they give you a diagnosis, but when they say you'll be done with physical therapy or whatever in X weeks, almost always they're wrong. The time estimates are always so far off. Or in the case of my grandfather, when he fell off the roof at work like 20 years ago. He fell, I think, 3 stories and hit the pavement.
That does not
And
sound like a good time.
no, he broke every rib, and the ribs punctured his lungs and collapsed them. And yada yada yada, lots of other BS. You know, the human body reacting to severe trauma.
Yeah, intense trauma. Yep.
When he first got there and they started operating on him, they were pretty sure he wasn't going to make it at all. Which then turned into like he's going to need months to recover, which then turned into he was out of the hospital in like 3 weeks.
That's kind of what happened with my friend Elise after she had her stroke.
Yeah. Strokes are especially hard to like estimate.
Especially when you're having a stroke at 40 and you have no family history of strokes and
Right.
none of the like predetermining factors for stroke.
Yeah.
Because PSA, folks, strokes in young people are on the rise since COVID.
Yes, they are.
Well, I mean, that's kind of COVID's thing.
But yeah, strokes are hard just because you never know how a person's brain is going to react exactly.
Yep, some people will become incomprehensibly violent and their personality will completely change.
Everybody's different.
Yeah, brain damage in general is weird. You could take 2 people, have them suffer near identical brain damage. One person will basically suffer little to no cognitive effect. The other person could vary wildly from mood swings to being completely erratic to a complete personality change.
And in
Brains are
some
weird.
cases, you can have a railroad spike go straight through your entire brain and live for quite a while afterwards.
Yep. But
What's that guy's name?
Being a nice person
Fuck.
to being an asshole. I know you're talking about. I don't remember his name though.
Can't remember his name. But yeah, railroad spike went straight through his fucking skull. And he
Kill him?
survived.
Yep.
My grandma, my
Personality
great-grandma
changes,
got
but
shot in the lung when she was in her 40s and she lived to be 95 and the bullet was still in her.
that's commitment.
Yeah.
I was shot at once.
It was not on purpose.
Oh.
Her husband and 2 older sons.
Funny how you
We're
assumed
out.
that being shot at was on purpose.
I mean,
it was, but you didn't assume it was an accident.
you never know.
It was on purpose, but
I mean, I feel like being shot at usually implies on purpose.
usually, but it depends.
My great grandma was not shot at; she was accidentally shot.
Yeah, that does happen.
My great grandpa and the 2 older sons were out hunting, and she was hanging washing on the line with my grandpa,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody like misaimed a shot or something, and one of them accidentally shot her.
Yep. That is why rifle hunting is illegal in the state of New Jersey.
Hmm.
Because it's too flat. There are a couple of states that are like that, where they only allow hunting with certain things for that reason.
Yeah.
Because it's just too flat. Yeah, I got shot at once, but not shot.
Why
And
did you
yeah,
get
it was
shot
on
at?
purpose. I was pheasant hunting.
Someone mistook you
And
for a pheasant?
no,
I don't see
it wasn't
that.
an accident. It was purposeful. They were trying to scare us.
Hmm.
That's irresponsible gun ownership.
Yeah. Thankfully, the spot that they did it at was a very well-known like release area where the state releases a bunch of pheasant every year. In this big area, so that hunters have a place to hunt, and that the state has a general idea of how much hunting is happening, how many, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
population controls and such. And the parking lot for that big zone always has a ranger, park ranger, and we let him know. And I don't know if they ever arrested them, but he did confront them. But yeah, we weren't the only people that they did it to. My grandfather and I, we got shot at, and a couple of other people got shot at too by the same group.
It's all fun and games till somebody starts shooting back.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. We didn't shoot back, but we made it very clear that if they did it again, that we would. And then they didn't do it again. So it's very irresponsible gun ownership in general, but also extremely stupid when the people you're shooting at also have guns.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, there's no plausible deniability of, like, you're shooting at someone that may or may not be armed. No, they are. They are armed. And they're hunters. They know what they're doing. They have a general idea of how their guns work. Maybe not a good call, guys. I don't recommend shooting at the people that have guns.
And aren't afraid to use them.
Yeah, don't do that. But yeah, I did get shot at the one time. That ranger was a nice guy, too. It was always the same guy, like year after year. And he would just, you know, make sure everybody had their licensing and permits and stuff. Because the whole point is that it's a very controlled zone. So that it's, like, safer and yada yada yada. And you still have to actually do the hunting. The zone is pretty big. Like dozens of square miles. But yeah, it was a good time. Getting shot at, I mean. I enjoyed it. Which is to say I didn't enjoy it at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they do have hunting video games you can hunt from the safety and comfort of your own computer chair. With
Yeah,
your
I've
friends.
played some of them.
And it costs a whole lot less fucking money.
Well, I already have the gun. That's the most expensive part.
I mean, friends are expensive, especially if you don't split lunch.
Yeah, it's true. I don't like hunting alone. Grandfather didn't like hunting alone either. It's just not a good call to be out in the woods with a gun by yourself, surrounded by people you don't know that also have guns.
And also maybe idiots.
Yeah. Generally not a good call. He did it for years, though, but he didn't like it.
very confused. Oh, that's why.
I wasn't really big into the whole hunting thing.
Every time I go to select the one thing I select.
Like, it makes sense to me in principle of, like, doing it for food. And we did do it for food, but also for just the fun of it. And I didn't really enjoy, spending hours sitting in the woods with a gun in my hands waiting to see if anything interesting would happen. And, you know, killing stuff so I could put their head on a wall, you know? Not a big fan of that.
I do it.
What'd you say? You went robot.
Hey.
Oh, you're both
Nice.
robot.
Can't.
Hello? Are we good? Testing? Well, that's not good.
It was both of you for me.
Testing. Can you-
Hello.
Yeah, Discord is
It
losing.
happened the
Whoa.
other night when we were playing D&D. Yeah.
Discord is losing its fucking mind.
Yep.
What the fuck on this wall?
Anybody know where the fucking crenellations are, or what a crenellation is? Because I
This is a
thought I knew what
crenellation
it was,
right
and
here.
apparently I don't know what it is.
This thing right here is a crenellation. The thing I'm shooting at.
Yeah, no, I get it. I found it. Okay, then what the fuck? Which one is it?
I actually know that from watching Castle YouTube videos.
Nice.
Crenellations are neat.
My mom watches a lot of Escape to the Country on YouTube. That element.
Now, which battlement is the one I need to find?
Well, the wall is just this. Like this whole thing.
This one.
The castle tower battlement, I'm not sure.
Castle Keep battlement wall is this one that is
Yeah,
not
that's
clean.
well. Now it
Finally.
is.
Fuck.
Got it.
I was going in a big
It was
fucking
literally-
circle.
I just. Yep. I had to do it from like I had to aim at the corner.
Discord is dying
No,
again.
you're a robot again.
Alright,
Discord,
it's
no.
fine. We're almost done. Discord, we just need you to survive for like a couple of seconds.
All right, the last one is Castle Tower battlements.
There it is. Yep.
We
I
did
was
it.
trying to find the spot. Alright, good shit, brother. Ooh, yeah. We did it. GG.
GG.
What?
Yay! We did it, guys! Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night. I love you all. I think I'm playing Dark Souls on Friday. I don't remember,
Nice.
but we'll see. I'm gonna raid out, but everybody have a good night. Love you all. Make sure you're getting enough sleep and drinking enough water. And don't kill anyone. That's bad. Bye-bye.